The Asian steppes did not see Grey Wolf like him. He was the son of ordinary family. He established a vast empire from China to Mediterranean coast, from the India to Moscow. He called himself the ruler who determined the fate of star. When his 35 years adventure came to end, he would leave 70 million corpses behind. Imagine a lifetime. There is no day without adventure. He was born 36 run away after gave a death order about Chatai Han. He had to spend his time cutting road in desert, stealing and doing mercenary service. They were even taken captive and spent 2 months in a barn full of insects. He got nicknamed Timur, which means limp, after these events, as a result of his injury to his arm and leg. After the healing of their wounds, Timur and Hussein came to Transoxiana again. He became famous for the ingenious tactics of his own invention. In one battle, he had his soldiers build hundreds of campfires in the hill around the enemy, making them believe in their generation from all sides. He had literally branches tied to saddles of his soldiers, who were casting his enemies as they fled. Thus, he aroused the illusion that a huge army was coming to enemy. In this way, he captured several important cities, but he couldn't declare himself a Khan, because according to laws of Genghis Khan, only a descendant of Genghis Khan could be a Khan. For this reason, he started using the title Emir and carried one of the Genghis descendants with him under his control. The secret of their success is not besides being a good leader. They do their jobs with great cunning and politics. He had set up a highly advanced spy agency. Of course, one of his most important weapons was to spirit fear. Many cities surrendered before Timur attacked it. For example, India decapitated 100,000 civilians in one day. When Timur took Delhi, the capital of India, the Indians had armies of 2,000 elephants. Searching for a solution against elephants, Timur found an interesting but terrible remedy. He tied hundreds of camels together. He set them all on fire and left them on the elephants. The frightened elephants turned back and crushed the Indian soldier. He ensured the spirit of Islam in India with his Indian campaigns and prevented the spread of Christianity in this region forever by expelling the Christian missionaries. He had an interesting passion for beheading. In Isfahan, one of the most important cities of the Islamic geography, the lover surrendered, but when Timur's soldiers began to harsh women, the people lynched 2,000 of Timur's men. Thereupon, he had hundreds of thousands of people beheaded. In Aleppo, which is on the border of Syria today, when the people resisted again, Timur had tables set up in the city and made it mandatory for each soldier to come with 2 heads. In fact, some soldiers who couldn't do this to a Muslim people like themselves bought heat from another soldiers with money and registered their name. These heats are arranged in form of tower at visible point of the city. Yazid, who was considered the murderer of Hazrat Hassan and Hussein, and summoned 1,000 of his men and turned into a people. However, after all, he was not a pure barbarian. Timur was a man who wanted to create rather than destroy. He made all his massacres in accordance with the steppe laws set by Genghis Khan. Emir Timur's aim is not to establish an empire, but to dominate the whole world. The truly possessed rare talent seen in very few who could achieve this. A poet portrays him in a poem as a king god who deplorates that he is a human. Timur, on the other hand, called himself the ruler who determined the fate of the stars. Since there is a god in sky, then there must be a ruler on earth. He has already said that the earth is too small to respond to a person's wishes. One of the most important expeditions is Anatolian expedition. In those years, Yildirim Bayezid was standing on Ottoman throne. Bayezid was greatly expanded the Ottoman lands, was a self-confident sultan. Timur, on the other hand, wanted to control the Ottoman Empire, which was biggest power that could pose a threat to him in the West, before he made the Chinese campaign. As it is understood from the letter I will read now, it was not a war with Ottoman Empire, but friendship and trust. However, it was Yildirim Bayezid who forced the war to some extent. Timur, we are a ruler who has made the greatest part of human world a condition in our power and power. I did unprecedented job on my own. Like you, I did not inherit countries from my father. Make up your mind. Bayezid. Old dog, you are a more severe infidel than Takfur. Your ladder, you wanted to frighten us. I'm not like Persian sultans. My soldiers, not like Indian soldiers. Timur, you consider ourselves as a disbeliever who shed blood unjustly. Now that I have been at war for nearly 14 years, don't be threatened and proud as in your letter. Do not dare words that are far from the path of reason. If you receive a letter containing your sincere greeting and good expression, there will be softening and love between both parties. Otherwise, if the sword appears, there will be no room for the pen. It continued harsh words such as wasting your life if you won't come to battlefield. There was no turn back from the war. When Timur read the answer, he jumped out of his seat and started an expedition in Anatolia. The transition from the Ottoman state to the empire and the conquest of Istanbul were delayed for 15 years. The fear of Timur gripped European states because the buffer zone in between was defeated. Yes, there was no obstacle in front of its march to Europe. However, he had no such intention because he intended to go to China because he saw Europe as pure. Timur is the name that laid the foundation of today's Russia. The Khan of Altın Orda Toktamış, descended from Genghis Khan, took advantage of Timur's cautious campaigns and entered the country and even approached Samarkand. Thereupon coming back, Timur pursued Tokhtamış and captured him in the Siberian steppes. In the great battle, 200,000 people, mostly from Altyn Orda, were frozen to death or were put to sword. As a result of this event, Altyn Orda weakened and Russian gradually began to take control. Even though he is a Muslim, his belief has important difference with today's perception, because it was a name that was connected to tradition of Timur and laws of Genghis Khan. When talking about Genghis Khan, he described him as the Khan of the Khans and saw himself as his son-in-law. Before most important battle, according to antique shamanic tradition, animals used to tell fortunes from their internal organs. In Asia, the Arabic alphabet was abolished and Uyghur alphabet was put into use. He even had books written by him. Timur is the ruler who gave the final shape to all of today's Asia. When Timur died, he left behind 17 million corpses. Emir Timur.